Drinking a bit of ginger tea to start speaking about this topic, guys. So someone asked me this question about being a sex god or somebody who's tapped into their tantric embodiment and not ashamed of sex anymore. Okay. I think a lot of the deeper secrets of this planet is of sexual in nature. And I think that that's where some of the most deepest healing experiences can happen from. Now, I just want to make sure that you're 18 plus, you're an adult listening to this. Okay, no kids allowed. Um, Make sure if you are watching this and you're younger, you don't have your parents present with you as you're watching a video like this. Okay, don't just click on any video that's saying you're a sex god and then start applying the methods from there without actually being a responsible adult. Okay. Having said that, you want to understand that life force healing energy is sexual energy. They're one of the same. Okay. One of the first things I want to tell you about is to understand the power of physical touch. And if you just have one hand touch the other hand, you'll notice how awkward it feels actually. Okay? You want to be a master of the erogenous zones. Okay? There's certain zones of the body that if you pay attention to, if you touch accurately, it turns the other person on. Okay? Like behind the ears, back of the neck, this area. Just like, let me think of some other areas. Back of the elbows. Okay? This area. Near the breasts. Of course, near the thighs and, down below, if you catch my drift. There's lots of them, right? So just look up the erogenous zones when you first begin this kind of work. Next thing, cardio, Kegel exercises, paying attention to foreplay. Very important, okay? And lastly, if you're having trouble lasting a long time because you asked the question of wanting to be a sex god. So I assume you want to last a really long time and be very present through your lovemaking as you go forth on this journey. So numbing condoms. Okay, numbing condoms are always great to slow you down. And also counting and noticing the little parts of your partner that you hadn't paid attention to before. Okay, there's parts of the body that you haven't really zoomed into before or slowed time down so much that you start to notice. Okay. The next thing I would say is keeping an inner inventory in your mind of different things that you could do, because you want to have in the back of your mind a buffet list of different sexual adventures you want to explore, different fetishes you want to get into, different styles of lovemaking. You want to have that in the back of your mind, okay? And also the next thing is synchronized breathing. Make sure your breathing is synchronized and each of your individual moans match up to create a melody, okay? The next thing is squeezing your PC muscles. This is the whole Kegel exercise, right? However, what you do is you also bend your knees when you feel like you're edging. You feel like you're about to ejaculate. You bend your knees, okay? And you can also hold your breath and release your breath and really focus on breathing slower from the belly. A lot of us, we get so stressed in the 21st century, we start breathing from our chest. Once we can open up the lower chakras through breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. It really helps you to slow down and open your heart as well. A lot of men are scared to become vulnerable. Okay, scared to become vulnerable. And one thing I would highly recommend if you're a man listening and you want to have more of that drive to eat spicier foods. And maybe your body doesn't tolerate spicier foods. It's time to start testing it out, testing out the waters, because men who eat spicier foods tend to have higher testosterone levels. And, you know, all this stuff, our lust, our libido, our creativity, our spirituality, all of them are merged into one Play-Doh clump usually. And we live in a culture that's very head up, neck up. Okay, it's very consciousness based, right? And it's very mental based in the sense we're not really tapping into that deep embodiment through our emotions, through our gut, through our body, essentially, through our somatic senses. And sex is one place where emotions, your sex, your heart, your mind is all activated at once, right? And it's a very visceral feeling, right? It's very right there. It's very immediate. It's very interactive. So you can't distance yourself from that. And if you do distance yourself, you're scared. You're finding a way to disconnect from your own body. And that's completely valid, okay? Because as I mentioned, the most deepest traumas come from that part. So being present with the uncomfortable places within your body and the lower chakras of the body, and also notice when your energy is rising up and when it's being repelled, and when, you know, your energetic cells weren't being acknowledged in childhood, essentially. Children are told, don't cry, take your hand out of your pants, don't masturbate. Like, this sexual shaming in culture is so strong, okay, that we're being told not to be sexual, and it's a taboo to talk about it. However, it's also plastered in all the advertisements and everywhere. So we have this confusing model in the mind of how can something be everywhere but also so taboo at the same time. That's the real crux of this, and that's the issue. Okay? We really got to understand all the mysteries and understand them from an intellectual level, and we can read books about it and we can learn more about it, but then we're still understanding it from a mental level. We're not understanding it from the metaphysical level of when we're actually doing it, right? So a fully awakened sexual being is actually very scary for the individual and for society. They don't know what to do with that. They honestly don't know what to do with that energy. So for you to learn how to move the Kundalini energy from the base to the crown to the base, liberation, manifestation. If you can really do that, most of the problems that you have in your life will sort themselves out. Most of the issues that show up in the boardroom need to be dealt in the bedroom. Okay? So to be a flow state lover, to be a sex god, as you said, you have to understand a few things. One, women are like a volume knob. You as a man are a light switch. Okay? Women are like in a stove. You'd have to really set the heater on to make a cup of boiling water. Men are like a lighter that just goes, right? Just fully erect, turned on, ready. Sometimes not even that, right? Sometimes impotence can take over as well, right? For certain men. However, start to understand that there is a difference, right? There's a difference between, hold on a second. Just turn this off for a second. I have a patient, I have a client right after this. Okay, so women need their hearts to be open before their legs are opened. and men need to have sex in order for their hearts to be open. So it's kind of backwards, right? In a sense, if you think about it like that. Um, Women need to be stimulated in the mind, create a storyline in their mind so that they feel safe around it. They have sensations, senses that they can really ingest and live that experience. Um, and also, if you're not looking for that deep, profound flow state sex, this is not the video for you, right? If you're looking for some kind of a one night stand thing with, some woman that you just found, this is probably not the right video to give you the answers. But if you're looking for a meaningful connection, right, the sacred energy exchange in the sexual experience, then you want to understand this and feel a sense of safety, of strong, loving, grounded presence without any agenda. That's what women want to feel. Women want to feel a container of a man. They want to feel a grounded sense of presence without any agenda. When you're talking to them, you're not like trying to get them into bed, right? You are just simply there listening to her. Listen to her. And for men, what you need is to deeply embody from sex. I understand that. And you need a place where sexuality is not shamed. You're welcomed for your primal energy and sexuality and your cravings and all that stuff and your fetishes. And you need a place where you can share your desires and not be emasculated, not have your balls cut off for it, essentially. So once you understand these two dynamics that are taking place within each gender, now we have to play the dance. Now the dance comes into play, right? Where now you're being the sex god or the sex goddess in this case, where you're actually coming together, reaching oneness, reaching unity, reaching oneness, one single consciousness, where you're breathing together, moaning together, loving together, going from a me energy to a we energy that slowly goes into the one, the I am of the absolute. And I know these are very vague concepts, right? They're very metaphysical concepts, but try and really understand it to the level that I'm saying it at. Because men want to rush to the end of the movie oftentimes. They're like, let me get to the orgasm. Let me nut, right? Immediately, there is a speeding up of this entire beautiful movie, of this entire process that is taking place. So in order for you to really, truly be a tantric lover, to be sex god, to be flow state lover, you want to embrace the beauty of the moment, embrace the beauty of life before you notice the beauty in your partner. Okay? Don't just notice the beauty in your partner and think, oh yeah, she's kind of hot. Yeah, she looks good. Okay, that's just one level of beauty. What is the beauty underneath that beauty? Okay. What is she connected to? What is her lineage? What is her timeline? Can you see beyond the veil of what she's portraying and what she's saying in those arguments? Can you transform the anger that she's feeling in that moment into lust? Right? This is the real art form, and I'm going to talk more about this if you guys are if you guys are interested in this topic. And I'm going to break it down, right, in another video. But I got to get going right now. Okay. So may the flow be with you. Have an incredible day. Stay legendary. See you guys next time. Okay, boom.